Fuck. I'm Rosa Ruff, aka Stinky Cream Cheese, with Violent J and Zachy Too Dope. This is the Metaphiles, I guess.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm a clown, but I'm fucking fucked up in the head, dude. Like, I think about just crazy shit that to me is like normal.
I'm not a violent person. I'm not violent.
But he is really violent, but to him it doesn't feel like violent. To him it seems normal. That's how fucked up it is.
Sick in the head.
Okay.
Whoa. Shit.
What?
That
What?
was
That was violent?
That was
so
fucked up.
fucked up.
That was fucked up, man.
I'm gonna kill you.
This is mental and emotional violence that you commit as well, you know?
What if you
Yeah,
gave
okay.
like a baby...
That makes that I do that.
What if you gave a baby a knife to hold as a toy? And that seems normal to me.
What? It's just a baby. What? It needs the knife as a toy to hold.
Or
What?
as a pacifier. Ah!
And that's some stinky cream cheese.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
And now we're doing the show.
Yeah.
And welcome, Rosa.
Thank you. This
Stinky cream cheese.
this is gonna be your biggest flop yet.
Well,
I'm too scatterbrained to ever be on a podcast. Like, my thoughts are like an alcoholic shit, you know, just kind of going everywhere.
the scattered brain finds lodging in Metaphiles.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Would you not say Violent J?
Again, I take umbrage with that moniker.
Okay, non-violent J.
Hi,
Non-violent
I'm
J.
Pacifist J here.
Pacifist
Conscientious Objector J.
And I don't
coming at
really...
ya. What's up?
sorry to cut you off, COJ. I don't really smoke dope that much.
Dope.
I don't know that.
That's what makes you too dope.
I'm too dope to smoke dope. Too
hear that,
dope
kids?
to smoke dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoking dope
That's for losers.
is for dopes.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if there's an album you really have been, like, wanting to hear.
I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles said it first, you know, like,
Were they
dope is
anti-dope?
whack. Yeah.
When were they anti-dope?
Spilled my drink. They did a lot of PSAs back in the day, like along with fucking Pee Wee Herman. Remember, like the anti-crack and like anti-weed PSAs.
I do remember that Pee Wee Herman doesn't like crack.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the turtle.
He loves jerking off in theaters, though.
Loves it.
Yeah.
Prefers it to any other kind of jerking off.
Honestly, I'll defend him in that because it was a porno theater. What do you expect someone to do?
Yeah.
What are they there for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people that throw on porn just to like watch, that's the real violence. That's the
It's
real
disgusting.
insanity. Yeah.
You gotta
It's
go
Cannes or something. Yeah, the film festival.
go support the arts in a theater.
Yeah.
All this streaming, it's ruining the whole industry.
We could say, without a doubt, Paul Rubens respects the arts, supports it.
Absolute.
Wait,
A patron. A true patron.
Can any of these viewers say the same?
Sound off in the comments.
Sound
Yeah.
off.
What is this episode about?
We're gonna, believe it or not, be talking about porno theaters for the whole hour. No, that's not true. That's not true. Stay.
Don't push that back button yet.
We will be discussing this episode the life and works of musician, odd person,
Eccentric artist.
eccentric artist, cultural icon. He who is dubbed Tiny Tim.
Yes.
Minuscule Timothy.
Correct. Yes.
Mini
Timmy.
I do have a few things to say about Mini Timmy. But,
you
double
got your
props?
own prop.
yeah, double up the props.
I think this is a first.
Yeah.
Well, and if you don't like that, I also have
More props?
yeah. I mean, in case you want, I have many various sizes of vampire teeth, along with some like
Wearable?
yeah. There's like little beads in there that you just like heat up. I think in like hot water or something.
Oh, but I couldn't just pop them in right now.
No, I don't think so.
I
mean, you
don't-
can
I
try.
don't like
You
those.
can try, but
I don't like those.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm gonna put them right in your way.
I wish I could move them, but I have to be polite. Yes.
No, you can move them.
Vampires is a good app.
Vampires?
It would be.
Vampires.
There's an app called Vampires.
App.
Oh yeah, that would.
Yeah.
I mean, we could segue to some degree to vampires through Tiny
We have
Tim.
No, we can't,
We have
because
a
I did all
strict-
this research.
Oh, okay, all right.
There's a
Well,
strict non-segue rule of this podcast.
I turned down talking to my mother on the phone today because I told her I have to listen to a Tiny Tim album before 6 o'clock.
can I ask which Tiny Tim album you listened to?
Yes, you may. So you had recommended one to me
Yes.
called The Eternal Troubadour.
No, Tales of an Impotent Troubadour. Get your facts straight.
Oh.
Unbelievable. People rely on this podcast for facts.
Yes.
Zach, you know that.
My facts weren't straight. I apologize, and I'm going to take a long time to sit back and listen.
Take accountability for your actions, Zach.
And I'm specifically going to sit back and listen to Tiny Tim's debut album, God Bless Tiny Tim, from the year 1960 something.
As his podcast co-host, it's a
68.
long time he took accountability.
Yes.
Long time.
And I'm
Long
saying
time
that,
coming.
and I'm saying that I am now.
Okay.
And I did listen to that album.
It's about damn time.
And because I couldn't remember the name of the one that you said, obviously, and I'm admitting it. So I just was like, I'll start at the start.
Start at the start.
But I will say that album.
Oh,
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm a vampire, but
You make a good vampire.
But I hit a thing.
The vampire after the dentist. Ooh. But on the topic of Tales of an Impotent Troubadour,
Yes,
I do believe that is an outlier in his discography. It is much more of a personal album, as well as I believe his last, that was produced by two of my favorite musicians and producers.
And since here in segment 1 we discuss the topic and us, please go on.
All right, yeah. So that album
Who are the
was
producers?
produced by Stephen Stapleton from Nurse of Wound and legendary underground occult figure and neo-folk icon David Tibet, aka David Michael Bunting, current 93, and also Nurse of Wound.
Were any of them made of garlic?
No, I don't think so. None of them are
It
Italian.
sounds cool there.
Oh my god.
But
I'm
where
not
was I
familiar
going
with
this?
either of them, folks.
They were part of the industrial scene in Europe in like the 80s and so on.
You're not up on the 80s industrial European scene?
Wouldn't that place
Fucking
them
shame.
at the very beginning of the industrial scene?
Absolutely, they like so. David Tibet started off in.
Also, I'm really sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I don't mean to
You're
cut
good.
you off. And it is only on behalf of the procedure of this podcast. We save this stuff for the second segment. Am I being too strict?
Oh,
Too rigid?
No, I think you
Am
are,
I?
because this is how
Okay.
Rosa specifically found Tiny
My
Tim
bad.
and relates.
Please
well,
continue.
obviously
Please
not how I
continue.
found Tiny Tim, but this is. I guess
Found
maybe it
your
was
love.
a bit of yeah, absolutely. how I
Like the
found my
reason
love.
that it's the topic for this episode is that album.
Yes, because of
So Jay,
said producers. Yes, COJ.
I made a formal apology earlier.
Okay.
Then I became a vampire for a little while. It was very funny. Then I'm sure, while you were noticing that I was very invested in whether or not I was a vampire, you were thinking to yourself, well, I need to make sure that the train is on the track.
I'm sorry. 80s European industrial. I thought it started with Trent Reznor.
No, absolutely not. Trent
Started
Reznor,
and ended.
I would say I would say
9-inch nails, motherfucker.
Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails. As a huge fan of industrial music myself, but I'm also a purist, I will say Nine Inch Nails is not industrial. He was inspired by industrial bands, primarily Coil and Skinny Puppy, but Nine Inch Nails is not industrial.
Hey, why'd that puppy have to be so skinny, huh?
Well, it started because they were gonna make music from the point of view of abused animals. I believe, if I recall correctly, that's how Skinny Puppy was initially started.
I'm back to I approve.
Yeah. But anyway, Tales of an Impotent Troubadour, and we could get on to.
She don't wobble none, does she? Oh,
No.
there. Oh,
She used to have a sticky bottom, but not anymore. So she's just kind of there. And I did think that she was kind of fitting because no, she doesn't have a ukulele. No. Oh, this isn't the one that used to be in my car. I don't know how I got this one.
You just reach into your pocket and pull out a hula girl, and
No.
you never know which one.
I mean, I'm like fucking Mary Poppins. I'll like pull shit out of my fanny pack, my pockets.
Yeah.
fast and loose with the girl, the Hawaii girls, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You are as close to in reality the concept in cartoons of hammer space.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of Hammer Space. I wish that that's the goal. I remember
You're pretty close.
since I was a little kid, I always looked up to.
Let me explain hammer space real quick.
Oh yeah.
So, Felix the cat was a cartoon cat named Felix. And sometimes Felix the cat would pull from nowhere a hammer. The hammer existed in what cartoonists refer to as hammer space.
Or what Star Trek may refer to as subspace.
Hammer space, the final frontier.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so the idea of hammer space is like if somebody has a bag, even if the bag's only this big.
Shut the fuck up! It's coin time.
Okay, silent coin time.
Silent coin time.
Coin time!
Oh, I didn't mean. Oh yeah, coin time.
Coin time. I think
It's
I've
going.
coins.
Oh, here,
Sure.
from hammer space.
Really? Do you have quarters? I need quarters. That's the whole
From
reason
hammer
it started.
space, the final frontier.
Oh.
That's my
Coin time. Get that dollar out of here. Get that
dollar
out of here.
Get that dollar out.
Coin time. Coin time.
Coin time.
Whoa.
Wow.
I need that dollar. I'm glad I found it.
I'm not. Fucking disgusting paper money. Filthing up coin time. That's been coin time, by the way.
Yeah, that was a great coin time.
was a
I
great
hope I was the first guest to bring coins out.
Actual coins. Yeah.
Yes.
Much appreciated.
You said this was going to
Legitimized.
be a flop. The only thing that's flopped is several great things onto the table out of your pocket.
That's right.
That's what's
Yes,
flopped.
wonderful. And this one is from. What the fuck is? Oh, it's upside down.
I mean, it's not really coin time anymore.
Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
No, but Rosa, it's like coin time.
Well, now I'm invested in this coin. I'm sorry.
But it's not
What-
really coin time.
You're gonna have to
Alright,
invest a lot more than that if you want to make money.
This is a 25-cent coin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what was on the back though. But I did.
Someone.
I did want to say on the quick side note of Hammer Space.
Yes.
I always wanted to achieve that goal of Hammer Space ever since. It didn't even stem from Hammer Space like cartoons, but rather the kids. I don't know if you ever saw the TV show Recess as children.
Not really.
There's one kid on the playground who had a trench coat, and he'd open it up, and he'd have any of the wares that anybody would want. And I wanted to be that kid. and
That
I
is
was
Hammer
that kid.
Space.
Yeah, and so I'm glad. Like, I always try to keep shit on me. You
Yeah.
gotta keep shit on me, and it's proven useful at times, such as coins.
Props.
Yeah, props. Sometimes I'll have beer in my pockets, and I forget about it.
Just loose beer.
Yeah, just not even like in a
Just like-
can. Like, yeah, just get a fucking spoon, go in, slurp it up, some warm ass beer.
Hell yeah.
So I listened to the first Tiny Tim record today.
God bless Tiny Tim.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Bit of a play on something we're all very familiar with. Charles Dickens. The Mortal Man.
Christmas Carol.
Yes, the very same.
Yes.
The very same.
God bless us, one and all.
Yes,
Yeah.
but Tiny Tim says, God bless Tiny Tim
Yes.
for existing.
I mean, that is true. That is true. Which I was delighted to introduce you to Tiny Tim's actual voice and not his falsetto.
Yes.
Ooh.
So, okay. Before it was determined that this would be the topic of the episode, because as our fans know, we have a strict do not discuss the topic once we know it's the topic. But we didn't know yet. And you played me Tiny Tim's cover of Stairway to Heaven.
Yes.
Which was a goddamn delight.
It's the only good version of Stairway to Heaven, I could argue.
If there's anybody out there that is like, who is this person they're talking about?
didn't know he did
Do
that.
I care? Do I ever want to hear anything that they've ever said or done? Listen to that cover. Pause this right now. Listen to that. Come back.
Go listen to it.
Well, I feel like you can't truly appreciate it unless you know the typical Tiny Tim ballads, you know?
That's true. So, yeah, okay. So, Tiny Tim, most famous song, it's not even in question, Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Absolutely, which has been, I'd say, disgustingly misused by horror media to be a creepy song. I think it was popularized by Insidious, the first one.
Well, we will come back to that.
Okay, we will come back to that.
But, so Tiptoe Through the Tulips, Tiny Tim goes, and tiptoe through the tulips.
That's pretty good.
That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, way different
That's pretty
melody, but yes.
We've done it on this show before. I don't remember when or why. Yes, for sure. Because when we did it, I was like, oh, Jay knows that too. Why do I know that? And why do we both know that? But anyway, I think everybody does, maybe. Yeah, thanks to Insidious.
Yeah, I think that there was also some Tiny Tim on SpongeBob back in the day as well.
It exists within the cultural hammer space.
Cultural hammer space.
Yes.
I want to live there. I think I do. But, so I had heard basically those two songs. And I went into today saying, I'm going to listen to a whole 40 minutes of ukulele and falsetto. And I hope that it's okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was immensely charming. It was funny. It was
Okay.
on its face unique. Like, knowingly. It was very knowing. It knew itself. Tiny Tim knew what Tiny Tim was
Okay.
on album 1.
Yeah. I mean, do you know how Tiny Tim became Tiny Tim?
I do, and we'll get to that.
Oh, we will get to that.
That's some segment 2
Okay.
stuff.
All
This
right.
this is where if Jay
Okay.
had said what he said earlier, I would have said you're right.
Oh, okay. I gotta be more careful where I say things that I want to be right.
Yeah.
When I say them.
Yeah. So your name, of course, is COJ.
What? I never agreed to that.
I think perhaps it should be changed to Careful Observer, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty apt. Yeah.
Pretty
And
apt?
Apt. What?
That was a callback.
What? No, no.
I feel like you've accidentally fallen into the role of like the taskmaster or something.
Oh,
Nobody
yeah?
really sees you that way.
You know, I'm a passive guy, passive aggressive, pacifist. By the way, this is boyfriend and girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
right?
There definitely is some sparks.
I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And that my task for them is to have a good relationship. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I'm not a taskmaster. It's not in my DNA.
No, of course not. We have a wild guest who earlier described their brain as being like an alcoholic shit, and you were trying to make sure the show was operating correctly. That's all.
I wanted to make it all in the toilet, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the bowl.
You're trying to help the alcoholic
Okay.
not leave too big of a mess.
And I don't need to derail or dump the momentum or anything like that.
No. And you didn't.
Okay.
And I am now.
That's fine though.
Dinner. Anyways, what were we talking about? Tiny Tim.
Probably Tommy Tim's Jamboree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, me and Tiny Tim is that. I heard that one today. I liked it. I also, so for my research, I listened to that while I was doing my writing things down. Then I watched a 20-minute interview with Tiny Tim on the Morton Downey Jr. show, where they got very real, and it was quite fascinating.
How so?
We'll get to it.
Oh, okay. So everything I want to discuss, we'll get to in a later segment.
I mean, I didn't say we'll get to Hammerspace later.
Oh, so fuck Tiny Tim. Let's talk Hammerspace.
No.
Welcome to Metaphiles.
Let me jump in as a taskmaster here.
Yes.
Okay, as a taskmaster. Segment 1 is just about our personal experiences, about the subject.
Okay.
Why do you, as a person, like Tiny Tim?
Well, honestly, mine has to be reserved for section 2 because it goes into the origins of Tiny Tim and some parallels with another musician that I really enjoy. But I will say, obviously, one of my first introductions was sadly SpongeBob and Insidious. That was my Tiny Tim introduction.
And you feel sadness from this.
Well, I feel like after getting into Tiny Tim later in my life, that putting his music in horror movies to make it seem eerie and unsettling is a bit of a gross misuse, as I feel with any other outsider artists. Like, people wouldn't do that with Daniel Johnston, but you know, I think that it's akin to the same thing, just because it sounds something slightly not the norm.
Can we try something right now?
Mm-hmm. Actually, no.
We're going to.
All right.
Or we're going to at least hear the pitch.
Who's the taskmaster?
And I'm the taskmaster.
We're going to hear the pitch. Can a bitch pitch?
All right, go ahead.
I want to pitch it, and then if we can't do it, then that's okay.
Pitch it real good.
So, there's 3 of us. It takes one person to know the lyrics, or at least be able to fake the lyrics to a Daniel Johnston song. It takes 2 people to be characters in the trailer for a horror movie. Do we try this?
Do you know the lyrics of a Daniel Johnston song?
No.
I don't either. I'm not a big fan.
Me neither. Okay.
Hi, how are you? That's about it. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Wesley Willis. Now I can talk about.
Okay. I was. So the other day,
rock over London, rock over Chicago.
The other day, I went to that one bar that we all typically see each other at.
It's the Cobra. Unless you don't want that to be known.
I'm fine with letting it be known. I was just protecting your fame, your personal lives.
Well, no, when we go in disguise.
Yes. Okay. So I was there quite early, earlier than I typically go. It was around 9 o'clock, and go out on the back patio. Of course, no one I know is there because it's only 9 o'clock. And I sit with this couple that are, smoking, talking. I'm listening to the music faintly. I'm like, this is I Whooped Batman's Ass by Wesley Willis. And some people started talking like, what is this song? Like, this is so fucking stupid. I'm like, this is Wesley Willis, babes.
That's
like,
stupid.
It's not stupid. It's great.
It's not stupid. You're stupid.
Yes. And it goes on. Song ends. And I shit you not. There's, a break. No, nothing's playing. And then you hear the intro to I Whooped Batman's Ass once again. Such a wonderful experience. Wish I could relive that again, but I know that it wouldn't be the same. It really wouldn't be the same. So it's just a memory I look back on fondly.
Put it in a fucking bottle. Yeah.
Yeah. Put that memory in a bottle. Yeah. Shake it up like a baby.
There you go.
My favorite Wesley Willis song is Don't Ask Me for Shit. Don't ask me for shit. Don't ask me for shit. Don't ask me for my binoculars. Is one of the things that you don't ask him for.
Undoubtedly a lived experience by Mr. Willis himself.
Yeah. I think Daniel Johnston is one of the more overrated outsider artists.
Yeah, I can't
within music.
I can't do it, but I can't really do any singer-songwritery stuff, so I don't feel like I'm a fair judge of whether it's good within that vein or not.
I understand that. I'm not a big singer-songwriter fan myself, but there's a few there's a few that I'm really into. I think I've told you about this before. Not a fan of neutral milk hotel. I prefer a nice chaotic milk for my hotel.
Absolutely.
But there's
and I'm like on a budget, so neutral milk motel is more really my speed.
Yeah, but the one track I will tolerate is a much more singer-songwriter song called "My Dream Girl Don't Exist," and it created a.
They're gonna sing it for us now.
No, I don't do that.
No?
Not for free. But
Welcome to Leia Plays. This is part of the podcast where I pitch an idea for a podcast might be better than this podcast potentially. This one, I think a good podcast would be called "What the Heck," and so it would have a guest, and
maybe two guests,
just one.
go stand over there for a second. Hey everybody, welcome to What the Heck. I'm here with conscious
Objector Jay.
Yes.
No, the format is okay. So the host asks the guest the question, something like "vampire teeth, what the heck?" and you answer it and you say, "That's what the heck." That's so okay. Welcome to What the Heck. This is my guest, a double meta guest, Rosa. Rosa, why do you have vampire teeth? What the heck?
That's what the heck.
Oh.
This also has a live studio audience.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Our sponsor is MeUndies.
Yeah. What is it? Purple mattress. Purple mattress.
Purple mattress.
Yeah, that's another one. And Raytheon, of course.
Raytheon, if you need to slice anybody up with a missile with blades on it.
Yeah.
Stamps.com is another one.
Mm-hmm. Woo! There's also, I think, purple carrot, blue carrot. One of those meal things.
For Hims.
Okay. Come on. That's too many sponsors.
Well, we're making a lot of money here on What the Heck.
Okay, we got Zach. Zach, you think we have too many sponsors? What the heck?
I mean, if you're like diversifying your portfolio that much, nobody's making that much money. That's what the heck.
Oh.
That's what the heck.
Actually making a lot of money. You're kind of costing it, like you're taking away from our ad time right now.
Do I have to?
I mean, there's a studio audience for a reason. All right.
So you think you can't be an audience and a host at the same time? What the heck?
Jay, you think that we can do this without an audience? What the heck?
What, wait, you're doing the what the heck on me?
I'm double
I
hecking
think we
on
can
you.
I think we can do it with an audience who is also a second guest at the same time. That's what the heck.
Say the line, Zach. Say the line.
I think he can't do both at the same time. Maybe you're right. He's reverted back to a primordial primate self.
The primordial audience audience member.
Wow, Zach, you think you're an audience member and a guest at the same time? What the heck?
Well, you said maybe you could have a second guest that was the audience, so the audience then became the second guest. That's what the heck.
Oh,
that's what the heck.
You saying that's what the heck is a question?
Yes.
What the heck?
What the heck?
What the heck?
This has been our podcast. What the heck? That's what
end?
the heck.
Oh.
That's the last line of every episode is that's what the heck, and then it just signs off.
I do want. There has to be a podcast called What the Heck.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fact check.
I mean, if there is already one, and it's more popular than ours, does that prove that this podcast could be better than the podcast that the podcast potentially it is?
That'd be empirical evidence.
Oh, What the Heck with Jono and Beck.
Oh,
a podcast.
Jono and Beck are together on a podcast?
Yeah, I know. Jono and Beck. Beck with no K.
I love that Jono shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about Jono shit.
Yeah, and they, of course, talk about stuff that everybody's already heard of. What the heck?
Do they have more,
Let's
do they have
listen to
more
one.
views?
I haven't seen.
That's
I don't know.
definitely that'll get a.
No, I know.
Where's the views?
Well, they
How's
have
the views?
they have 2 ratings on the Apple Podcasts. Both are 5 stars. Which, how many ratings do you guys have on Apple Podcasts?
We'll be right back. No, that's not my line. I'm just joking. No, I can't.
Are we gonna be right back? I think we need a good. We'll be right back.
Well, we might need to think about something.
Oh, think about it. I have to say that.
Oh yeah.
The
Think
people would be very mad if you did.
What the heck? Think about it. That's what the heck.
We'll be right back. And we're back with more Tiny Tim on the Metaphiles in spirit form.
That's Tiny Tim doing our theme song.
Yeah. Tiny Tim with a lot of vocal nodes as well. He's been smoking a few packs since
He's got some notes.
had a heart attack on stage. Which, have you seen the video of him having a heart attack on stage?
I did not know there was a video.
No.
Okay, so there's a video. We all know he died on stage from like a heart attack or some shit. But he had a heart attack prior to that on stage. That's on video, where he's just like, standing on stage. He's like, "This song is about my long lost love, Eva Braun," and just fucking like falls over. It's kind of sad, but whatever.
He must have been so keyed up on stage doing performances. If he had both of his heart attacks on stage, he must have been so freaked out.
So he was scared.
I mean, I walk into a room and I'm terrified.
I'm so scared when I'm on stage that my voice goes up.
Are you looking at Genius right now?
I am, because so we're going to do just a little bit of cleanup here.
Okay.
Because it would have killed me if I couldn't have the other half of the Wesley Willis lyric.
Yes.
So I did look it up. And it's, "Don't ask me to loan you $10. Don't ask me for my binoculars." Which is just
That's relatable,
beautiful.
It's also a cool half rhyme.
Exactly.
Were you there that night? I don't know if you remember Corey Lee from the street, where we work.
We're getting too inside baseball here.
Yeah. Okay.
We got.
Yeah. Sorry. I was once asked by a man who lives at the park by where we work for $100.
Going for it.
Yeah. And then he got his ass beat by someone right down the street, like 30 minutes later.
Clearly, that person didn't have $100.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're gonna get to like the true history that I have written down here. But first, this is the time where your origin story and Tiny Tim's origin story.
All right. So
If that's okay with you, Jay.
Yeah.
yes, Proctor J. The thing that really got me into Tiny Tim, outside of the collaborations with the capybara of the music industry, David Tibet, is capybara. They look like giant guinea pigs, and there's a bunch of pictures.
Big old rodent down there in South America.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures of them like hanging out with like crocodiles, fucking any animal, like. Every animal fucks with them,
Producing music now? I don't get.
No, so okay. David Tibet has made music with a bunch of people who you wouldn't expect him to make music with. That's why I call him the capybara. Like Sasha Grey, fucking Andrew WK, Tiny Tim, obviously, Genesis Breyer Peorage, Lee Scratch Perry. He'll do music with anyone. That's why I call him the capybara of the music industry. But I digress. Outside of those influences helped me get into Tiny Tim, once I learned about the origins of like how Tiny Tim came to be the performer that he was,
Which we will all learn shortly.
yes, I found it very akin to the origin of one of my childhood favorite bands, dark cabaret band, the Tiger Lilies from England. On that shitty little island we call England. Where
Tiger Lilies.
they both were
The Queen's Band.
Wait, what was that? You're playing some dark cabaret music in it?
Don't camera.
the vocalist of the Tiger Lilies. once he realized he wanted to become a musician, he rented a room in a brothel that he stayed in for a few months and locked himself in completely and practiced his falsetto and the accordion.
And here it is, me falsetto.
But then he proceeded to make really good, like, vaudevillian cabaret, jazzy songs about, like, kicking babies down the stairs, killing the Virgin Mary and pissing on her grave, standard edgy stuff. Banging in the nails.
Tiny Tim stuff.
Yeah, banging in the nails. It's Tiger Lilies is very much like dark-sided Tiny Tim, which there's some dark sides of Tiny Tim. I'm sure you've heard a little bit through.
Well, this we want to get to.
Yes,
let me get to some
do some hosting.
I shall. And anywhere within this, jump in and provide color to these factoids.
I am colorblind, so that might prove difficult.
Provide
I'll provide texture.
Ooh.
I'm texture blind, so
that's why you don't like noise music.
That's my favorite track.
I like the one
I like
that's
Jetsu.
God, I know that one, but I can't name it.
No,
Genuinely.
you're doing it wrong.
Merzbow.
Oh.
I hate noise wall. I will say I hate noise wall.
I hate all walls.
You should check out Consumer Electronics, but please.
I just think we should take those walls down. Tiny Tim was born Herbert Boutros Corey.
Oh, so there's no fucking Tim in that.
No Tim at all.
So he's a liar. That's the first thing we learned.
Tiny Tim is a liar.
Born
Yes.
liar.
That's what we're here to expose. Also not tiny. 6'1".
Yeah.
Not back then.
I mean, like, tiny to me because I'm, like, super tall. I'm also, like, really fit and muscular and have a great personality.
Yeah.
Unlike Tiny Tim.
All of that's true. We had to dig a hole into the floor of Metaphile Studios to just get you down this far.
Yes.
See,
Which I appreciate the effort as well. You know, you got, like, great accommodating hosts, I will say. I didn't get to say that yet.
Thank you. I'd been meaning to bust out those shovels anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you could find a pickaxe on such short notice.
Oh, I can always find a pickaxe. I can always find one. Born in New York City. New York City!
New York!
April 12th, 1932. To Mother Tilly, a Polish Jewish garment worker. So, Herbert Boutros Corey of the tribe.
Yes, I was about to say. Shouts out to the tribe.
Tilly was the daughter of a rabbi. His father, Boutros, textile worker from Beirut, now Lebanon, son of a Catholic priest.
What?
That's
all fucked up and backwards. What's up with that?
The Lord was working to make sure that Herbert Boutros Corey was born.
Yes. And he also did grow up Catholic, if I recall correctly.
Devout Catholic.
Yes.
That's so
to his
funny.
dying day.
Wow.
Yes.
A follower of Jesus Christ.
That's so funny.
Edu Christ and Jesus.
Self-taught guitar beginning at the age of 6. A prodigy. A wunderkind.
Uh-huh.
By 11, could play violin, mandolin, and the signature ukulele. By 11 years old. What were you doing at 11?
I was drinking and smoking cigarettes.
I was like...
I was being, like, really cool.
Pretty
And,
cool.
I'd already tased myself under a bridge in Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout out Friendly Center. You know what's up? What are you doing at 11?
I found a frog, and,
Also pretty cool.
yeah.
I
His
was,
name was Ricardo. That's what I was doing at 11.
I had a tree frog named Hopper.
Maybe they knew each other.
Maybe they did.
I was probably still like jumping off the couch pretending I was Batman and stuff.
Ooh, pretty fun.
Pretty fun. Pretty cool.
I had a friend named Mario. What he was doing, he would when he was like, maybe he was a little bit younger, but he had these like Superman underwear, but he'd wear it backwards so we could look at the Superman decal on the back, And he'd ride the self-moving vacuum across the living room as well.
Self-moving
Pretend
vacuum.
and pretend to be flying.
like the ones lawnmowers. Yeah, that's what he was doing.
My stepdad,
Probably coolest one.
when he was 11, he'd find cats in the woods, name them all Tom, because he thought that's what cats are supposed to be named. And then he'd frequently put plastic bags over their arms and toss them off the roof of his shed.
Okay, let's so Herbert got his appendix out when he was 13 in 1945.
Damn, you beat me to it.
You just had yours burst, or you could feel it was about to burst.
No, my appendix burst.
It did burst.
Yeah, my whole appendix.
Lost the appendix.
Yeah, doctors
Not
were
appendix,
like,
the appendix.
I thought I'd ate bad Mo's until a good 12 hours later at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh, I should drive myself to the hospital because none of my friends answered my phone calls or could drive me.
So while in recovery from the appendix out, but I did think notable appendix out, appendix burst,
Yes.
appendix hanging on these two sides.
Way to fucking brag. All right.
By its white knuckling.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ready to go at any moment.
Oh, yeah.
He read the Bible, listened to music,
He's just like me, for real.
and after the recovery, get ready, rarely left his room.
Just like me.
You have often said you have had periods of being a full hermit,
Oh, up until I was
and-
like 22.
and that
23.
one such time in your life may occur again, kind of at any moment.
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of appendix white knuckle. Only would leave the room to go to school. Mediocre student. Repeated sophomore year a couple times. Dropped out. Didn't need it.
Nice.
Can already play 4 instruments.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what I did.
I'm gonna be Tiny Tim one day. I don't need you.
Eh.
When listening to Rudy Valley one day, imitating Rudy Valley on the radio, Herbert Boutros Corey sang in a falsetto for the first time. And he described this as a religious experience, and he credits Jesus Christ for showing him that he could sing in a falsetto. Because as he stated on the, what's his face? Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
The Robert Downey Jr. show.
I would try to help you by saying Margaret Vermont. But
It's
sorry.
it. It's it. He said, originality is what this business likes most. And the falsetto was his niche.
Oh, how the world has changed, my friends. The world has changed.
I was about to say, I like that quote. I wish
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
By the early 50s, Herbert started entering talent shows, started going to amateur nights at clubs, and to stand out, again, originality, starts dressing crazy, grows the hair long, starts wearing pasty white facial makeup, and starts using pseudonyms. Here is a list of some pseudonyms. Texarkana Tex, Judas K. Foxglove,
Oh.
Vernon Castle.
I like that one.
That's
I like
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a Hellfire Club name for sure.
Definitely. Or a lounge singer, like Vernon Castle
Oh, yeah.
is singing "Fly Me to the Moon."
Also sorry to completely derail the entire episode.
Please.
But Kurt Vonnegut character. There we go. Sounds like one of those.
Yes, Vernon
Yeah,
Castle,
yeah,
absolutely.
understand.
And Emmett Swink.
I don't like that one.
I like
I like
Swink.
it.
I like Swink.
Swink is great.
Why don't you like it?
I don't know.
It's
I
just
think I think it's Emmett. That's
Emmett, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
But there's a whole like Tex, Judas, Vernon, Emmett going
I
for
think-
like a southern thing.
I think Judas Swink. That's
Judas
like
Swink is cool, although you have the double S. That's a little tough. Judas K. Swink.
Judas K. Swink.
Then he would have been famous
Hi everyone, this is Medfiles. I'm Judas K. Swink. I'm here.
with conscience or careful observer.
Yeah, Careful Observer J and Zachy Too Dope.
Zachy, some dope if there's an album I want to hear.
Yeah.
By 1959, he had dropped all these and settled on Larry Love, the Singing Canary.
Okay, he should kill himself for that one.
So
It's like a little awkward.
around this time, he starts working Times Square, gets his first agent, Greenwich Village, finally lands a paid residency at a in Greenwich Village at a gay and lesbian club and goes by Darry Dover and Sir Timothy Timms.
I like Sir Timothy Timms.
Sir Timothy Timms.
Yeah.
Sir Timothy Timms.
Like Tim's like the river?
It is with 2 M's. No, that's Thames. You think it's Thames.
I have no fucking clue how you say it.
Also, has there ever been anybody who thought
Times?
that it was pronounced Pinocchio?
No. Have you ever seen the
Fuck it right in the Pinocchio.
You lie, your nose gets so long like Pinocchio.
I mean, I feel like that's the way like the American Italians would pronounce it. How they like say gabagool instead of gabagool.
Hey, you're lying so much you're like Pinocchio.
Which speaking of Pinocchio, have you guys, not to derail once again, have you seen the most recent Italian rendition of the Pinocchio, like the film?
Guillermo del Toro.
No. This was not the. I don't think it was Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro just put out one.
Yeah.
There's one that was an Italian film that came out. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Highly recommend. Great practical effects. Very true to the books. I was a big fan of the book.
Can I recommend something Italian while we're doing Italian recommendations?
Sallow.
20 days of salt.
Yeah.
Not a family film.
It is a family film. Come on now.
Gordetto's snack mix. We're all familiar. Yes.
Gordetto.
No, I'm just familiar with dying in Ostia. People know what's up.
Neither of you ever had Gordetto's?
No, I don't fuck with Italian shit.
What is it?
Okay. Well, then
I
you
got
be
beef.
quiet.
I got beef with Italians.
Listen, not during my Italian recommendations. Was that? Italian recommendation. Gordetto's has released a spicy Italian line. Very, very good. It gets the Zach thumbs up.
How many thumbs up? 1 or 2?
2. I might.
2 thumbs up.
I've only had 1 bag, and I've had many bags of regular Gordetto. I might like this one more than the regular.
Wow.
But neither of you have had Gordettos, which is mind blowing.
Is it a sauce? Like spaghetti sauce?
No, it's like a little snack mix, like pretzels and those little brown things and shit.
It's like salsa?
But this one has like some Italian herbs. It's like a salsa, but solid. Imagine freezing a salsa, and you're just eating it in little pieces. You got that?
How big are the pieces?
Okay, so like some are that big. So, as he is operating as Sir Timothy Timms, his manager, George King, has booked him to follow what it says on Wikipedia. I'm quoting, this is not, I don't know the words. A quote-unquote midget act. So because Herbert is 6'1",
Following it.
George King says, you're going to be coming off after this. It'll be funny. I'm going to call you Tiny Tim. And the name Tiny Tim is born, thanks to George King.
Shout out George Queen.
Possibly a nice
George
fella.
Queen. Yeah, George Queen now. Congrats.
Possibly nice fella. I don't know. The whole thing seems pretty weird.
So from
Questionable
my knowledge, everything around Tiny Tim's a bit questionable.
Yeah, it seems that way. That way.
That's cool.
Although I do really enjoy his opinion on the Antichrist and Satan in general, which we will get into later.
Let's do that. Absolutely. So, okay. In 1963, he appeared in an experimental film called Normal Love, where he was singing, and that jettisoned him onto being on Martin and Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, which is a huge like sketch show of that era.
The hee-haw of that era.
Sure. I mean, I think those shows were on at the same time.
Well, the hee-haw for Yankees.
Sure. Yeah. Yankee hee-haw.
Yeah.
Yankee hee-haw. And he's on that enough times, gains enough notoriety, able to put out his first album, the very one that I listened to. That album had Tiptoe Through the Tulips, his biggest hit, 17 on the Billboard charts.
Wow.
17.
Couldn't even make it in the top 10. Fucking shameful.
But, I mean, how high have you gotten on the Billboard?
Ooh.
I mean, I've gotten pretty high, but not on the Billboard.
Okay.
Oh. They didn't put it on there.
That's
pretty high.
And that's some stinky green tea. So he puts out a second album, then he puts out a children's album. That one gets a Grammy nomination.
Whoa.
Grammy nominated Tiny Tim.
That's the one with Lonesome Little Raindrop, correct? Or was that God Bless Tiny Tim?
You would know.
I would. Like I said, I
Lonesome Little Raindrop was definitely not on the album that I heard.
Okay,
I can say that.
So I think that was the one. That's probably my favorite off that children's album.
Okay.
Can I see your light real fast?
So, between 1968 and 1970, height of the Tiny Tim mania.
Kobe.
Starts to wane.
Nope.
I thought it was more recent than that for some reason. Tiny Tim.
I mean, maintained a career.
70s or like late 70s.
Maintained a career, but
Okay.
that was like the boom. He said on the Morton Downey Jr. show that between those 3 years, he was making somewhere between $2 and $3 million. But his managers gave him a $100 weekly check or like allowance, sent $100 to his parents, and kept the rest of it hidden.
So he's still
He
a
got
nice
very
Jewish boy.
fucked over.
But I mean, $100 to your parents.
Yeah,
Nice Jewish boy maneuvers.
absolutely. But he got very fucked over by his management, and he said like, "I hold no ill will. I don't hold anger because the same power that allowed them to make me famous is the same power that they used to cheat me." Pretty fucking zen.
Yeah. They have their own balance sheet for doing that. It has a deficit all its own.
Absolutely, and they will take it up with his Jesus Christ when they get there. So he, fame wanes, but he's still doing Vegas. He's still appearing all over the place. He got to go to England. Starred in the 1987 horror film Blood Harvest.
I was going to bring up Blood Harvest when we were talking about vampires. There's no vampires in the film.
But so, the idea of his songs being used in horror movies, he starred in a horror movie playing the marvelous Marvo the Clown. He is the killer of the film.
Which
Looked pretty good. I watched the trailer. It looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, and very Joker 2019-esque makeup in that.
Yes.
I feel like there may have been some even like subconscious inspiration.
I bet you're right.
With that.
So you've seen the film. Oh, okay.
I couldn't find it anywhere. At least nowhere for free. And I'm broke.
Sure. Okay. I'm going to speed through the rest of this. Married 3 times. First marriage, 1969, height of fame, Miss Vicky.
Nice.
They had 1 daughter named Tulip.
Great name.
Yeah, he's tiptoeing through her, I guess.
Which brings me to a question that I'm going to save because I got to keep the segment. But later, let's come up with what we would name our kids if we had to name them after the most famous thing we've done. Just to be thinking about that. Second wife, Miss Jan, 1984. Took a big, long break. Third wife, Miss Susie, 1995. She was 39 at the time. He was in his 60s.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
She'd
do
been
we
a
have
fan
the
since
ages?
he was 12. The first marriage, he was in his 40s and she was 17.
Yeah.
They got married on the Johnny Carson show. 40 million people watched it. It was
It was a different time.
a different time.
And how many people watched the Beatles when they were on Johnny Carson? Who's more important? Who's more influential, Tiny Tim or the Beatles?
I don't have those numbers. I'm going to try and find
Do you
them
have
on
numbers?
break.
I don't have numbers, but I'm assuming like what is it?
40 million?
Probably
40
like
million.
8 people.
40 million.
I'm going to look that up on break.
I mean, I will say Tiny Tim way better than the Beatles any fucking day,
certainly better at getting married on Johnny Carson.
and certainly
They
better
didn't
at
do
marrying
that.
young girls. But
Seemingly so, yes.
yes,
Apparently.
Third wife, she was 39. He was in his 60s. She'd been a fan of his since she was 12. We're showing all sides of Tiny Tim here. So now let's get to the end of it. And as previously mentioned, as was foreshadowed even, on September 28th, 1996, Tiny Tim suffered a heart attack on stage at a ukulele festival in Montague, Massachusetts.
Shout out
a
Massachusetts.
ukulele festival. I would never want to go to a ukulele fest. I'd have a heart attack on purpose on the way to not have to go.
These days, I feel like back then it'd be a little bit more tolerable. But these days, it'd be like twee.
I don't think
Right,
there was ever a version of a ukulele festival that was good. Not in 1996.
I get
not
what you're
never.
saying.
Oh, 96. Yeah, that's about the time when ukulele.
Yeah. Well, I get what you're saying, Rose. Like, nowadays, you have the commercials, like, every single fucking commercial, like,
Yes.
there's no variation whatsoever.
The ukulele
Like,
needs
it's
to be
insufferable.
stopped.
Yes.
It needs to be
yes.
Yeah.
stopped.
As soon as Amanda Palmer picked up the ukulele, it should have been put down.
Okay. 3 weeks after this heart attack at the ukulele festival, he was released from the hospital, but he was advised by doctors to never perform live again due to health, weight, diabetic, and heart concerns.
He's just like me.
November 30th, 1996, at a gala benefit hosted by the Women's Club of Minneapolis,
He's not going to not perform again.
Tiny Tim said, "Fuck them doctors. The
Yeah.
people need this."
I'm gonna die for women.
Before getting on stage, by which point most of the attendees of the thing had already left, he told Miss Susie that he wasn't feeling that well, but he didn't want to disappoint his fans. And he took to the stage, and he had a heart attack during the song Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Miss Sue took him backstage, collapsed, unconscious, taken to hospital, never regained consciousness, pronounced dead, 11:20 p.m., November 30th, 1996, at
Rip
the
in
age
peace.
of 64,
Hmm.
having released something around 14 albums. He was buried, surrounded by tulips, with a ukulele laying across his chest. Some 400 people in attendance.
Wow.
An odd fucking life. Good research.
Yeah.
Huh.
Good research.
Strange way to live a life.
Yes, and we will discuss that
Oh.
when we return.
Oh, yes. So that means we will be right back. Welcome back to the Metaphiles. Shall we continue with our discussion of Tiny Tim for the evening?
I do believe we shall.
Yeah.
And I have one tiny little bit more of business that I want to get out of the way so that I can feel business free
Yes,
afterwards.
of course.
Here we go.
So,
Here we go.
the
Nah. Sorry. Not that big of a deal, really.
he died in Minneapolis. Yes, the Minneapolis Public Radio, on the day of his funeral, sent somebody out on the field to his funeral and interviewed people about why they were attending the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna play this. It's from public radio, so I assume it's fine that we're playing it. And we're gonna listen to about 3 minutes of this.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get struck with a DCMA from public radio.
I mean, look, if Minneapolis is upset that we're doing this, just know I'm a big fan. I listen to NPR all the time.
Yeah.
They can watch the episode and learn this anytime.
So we're gonna
So they'll
listen.
know.
We're gonna listen to 3 minutes of this, just to get a little an understanding of how post death, how the people of Minneapolis thought of him.
It's gonna be dreadful 3 minutes.
So it's 3 minutes. Let's just settle in, and here we go.
Oh, he always gave me good music. I respect anybody that entertains.
I've been a fan of Tiny Tim's, I guess, since I was a little kid, and I had a great fondness for Tiptoe Through the Tulips when I was a child, I guess, and he's sort of a cultural icon, and I just wanted to come pay my respects to him and to his wife today.
Are you surprised by the number of people who are here?
Yeah, it looks like it's a really good turnout. I think a lot of his fans are here, and a number of people are obviously very touched by him and moved by his death and are waiting to talk to his widow. It's a nice turnout. I imagine the funeral will be even bigger.
It's kind of odd to talk about turnout at a funeral, but he was in show business.
Yeah, I know. I think it'll draw a pretty big crowd, actually. He had Minnesota roots and was part of our culture, I guess.
Can you tell me why you came today?
Just to remember the 60s and remember Tiny Tim. Try to remember what I was like. That's all.
What were you like?
A lot younger.
Slave to nostalgia.
Curiosity is to see Tiny. And we were kind of curious. It's like, are the groupies going to be flying in from all over the United States? Who knows?
Curiosity.
Well, I don't know. We all kind of like Tiny Tim. My mom really liked him, so I kind of grew up in a house where I don't know. She played him a lot.
Childhood.
It was cool. I like the song "Tiptoe Through the Tulips," and so I came to pay my respects.
Well, he died.
If I may say, you guys are pretty young to have known Tiny Tim.
Yeah, we still hear the music around.
I didn't come out of it like it was a curiosity or anything like that. I think it's because Tiny Tim, maybe in death, you realize that what his life was about was he had in his imagination something he wanted to be, and like so few people in the world, he made that imaginative character, or that person he wanted, come true. And you know, and he proves what a lot of the poets say and what a lot of the creative people say is that imagination is more powerful than reality. And to a great extent, he lived that. And I'm just really impressed with that.
Yeah, because he must have heard people making fun of him.
Oh yeah. I think because even while he was famous, he's more famous as being a curiosity than being a serious artist or being someone who is seriously involved in his craft.
Just like me.
And I think even as you read the obituaries, and I can't say that I knew that much about his career, but as he's someone who really was very serious about what he was doing and had very much of a commitment to that and who he wanted to be. And I think that's the reason that came, is because he's someone who said, there's a creative idea out there of who I want to be, and that's what I'm going to spend my life doing. And he's one of the very, very few people that actually live that and accomplish that. And so I think it's well worth our time.
Pretty cool.
Well,
You behind that?
That's why I needed to play that. That last guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Why Tiny Tim? I mean, boy, dude summed it up for us.
We don't have to do the why segment at all. You nailed it.
Exactly. But you got the whole gamut there. There were some people that were like, he was fucking weird. Our groupie's gonna be here. Then you had people who were like, I listened to him as a kid. And then you have that fucking noble soul who was like, imagination's more powerful than reality.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
on the talk of
Absolutely.
funerals, when you were talking about his death earlier in the previous segment, it reminded me of you're talking about his funeral, and it got me thinking of G.G. Allen's funeral, which brings me to Tiny Tim promoted G.G. Allen's Carnival of Excess album.
That's awesome.
And now, as per the deceased's wishes, Mr. Allen has asked us to spray shit out of a hose upon each of the bereaved.
No, I got it. So G.G. Allen, you show on stage. What the heck?
What the heck?
Like, that's
what the heck.
That's so funny.
But not G.G. Allen. Fuck. Tiny Tim also had a very, I wouldn't say like necessarily.
Well, are you going to talk about the Antichrist?
Yes.
So before you do that, though,
okay.
I want to say that
please.
Tiny Tim, much like how Wesley Willis was discovered by Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys, these outsider people being embraced by the punk scene, your Capubera or whatever, David Tibet, they wanted to work with Tiny Tim because they were fans of his outsider mentality.
Absolutely.
And it's nice when an outsider is embraced in a completely unironic way by the punk scene. I think Jello had no irony in wanting to get Wesley Willis on record.
Yeah.
I think these guys had no irony in wanting to work with Tiny.
Well, that's the one thing that I guess I admire about what me and my friends call lifers within the punk scene is that a lot of people that are like within our friend group who are punks will sometimes be like, oh, we feel so weird hanging around punks and all this stuff, and I have to be like, don't, like, even if you're not punk, it's the thing about lifers is we embrace community over anything else. So like, it doesn't fucking matter like who you are, like what you try to be, or who your mama is. Like, if we fuck with you, we're gonna fuck with you. And I think that a lot of punks
say that in the way that people say it, where when you fuck with something, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But especially like
we don't know who watches this. They might not be cool.
Yeah, a lot of punks, like me
Like
included.
us.
Like, I grew up as like a isolated goth kid, like real Grey Garden shit, and the punk scene was like the one thing that I could find like community in, because I was shunned my entire life. And I think that, you know, punks overall, like artists, like I David Tibet from Current 93, he was in the punk scene, but he's also more of an artist. And I think, you know, it goes back to the origin of art, where you see something that's new and creative and you're going to embrace that, whether it's, you know, considered good by the masses or not. That's how it's going to be. And
or even sometimes whether it is good.
Yeah, you know, it's all subjective. And like there's a lot of stuff I like where it's also like objectively bad, but there's something to it that makes it good. And this goes back to kind of what I was going to get into in this segment, where how David Tibet got into Tiny Tim and became friends with Tiny Tim later on was, I believe it was Stephen Stapleton from Nurse with the Wound who introduced him to Tiny Tim. And David Tibet, who, you know, he's also, like me, you know, he's got the tism. So he, of course, fully, like, deep dove, started writing, like, I think he joined, like, a fan club that would, like, correspond with Tiny Tim, and they ended up meeting up in England and became friends. There's a book called Skipping to the Apocalypse. It's, like, a photography book that has a bunch of pictures of them together. And it's cute. But, to Tiny Tim and Satan and the Antichrist. David Tibet was interviewing him on the phone, and they were talking, and this is in I'll start with Tiny Tim's Satan, because it's a bit of a shorter excerpt, but David Tibet's interviewing Tiny Tim on the phone, and it's recorded, or I guess published in the song How the Great Satanic Glory Faded by Current 93, and the intro is...
I didn't even know that it had faded.
I thought it was quite bright myself. I'm not.
But the intro is just that phone interview where it's basically Tiny Tim being like, "Well, Mr. Tibbet, I will tell you, this Satan, he's beautiful, like Sharon Stone, and I believe like
Sharon Stone."
Yeah, no, he was equating the beauty of Satan to Sharon Stone.
Okay. So Tiny Tim had clearly just watched Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
On his mind.
Of course. Well, this was February 16th, 1995, I believe. This interview. So I don't know
that
if
was the year before he died.
1 week after Basic Instinct was released.
Was it really?
Oh.
Okay. Well, okay, hold on. Who's the fact checker? Who's the producer of this?
We don't have those.
Yeah.
Normally we have the fact tube, but when the guest is here, the fact tube goes away. So.
All right. Well,
we outsource our facts.
Well, I need to see when Basic Instinct was released, because.
Okay.
Because
if you do,
if he gazed into the eye of Sharon Stone, then perhaps this could have taken effect.
Well, I have a thing. Do you have a thing?
I know. I was just gonna say like
Basic Instinct 1992. So yes, he had gazed into the eye of Sharon Stone.
The multiple eyes.
Yes, but he also, I can't remember the quote entirely, but he said. Satan's eyes were like each had separate depths. One was like the depth of like the ocean or something, like the great unknown. I can't truly remember the quote, which it brings me shame. I am sorry to the Metaphile viewers. And
so we've done coin time. We don't often do this, but it is shame time.
Yes, shame.
And during shame time, we are silent.
Okay. We just let this. Am I?
Except the chair.
And that's been shame time.
You need a dunce hat for shame time.
I might CGI one on to you.
Thank you.
Real quick, Tiny Tim was asked by Morton Downey Jr., what is it like for you when you receive criticism? Certainly at the height of your fame, you received a lot. And Tiny Tim said, it was tough. It was tough to get these letters that said I was terrible and read reviews of people who thought I was terrible. But what was also tough was having long, crazy hair in 1954. So,
I can believe it.
Once again, Tiny Tim, a questionable human with questionable things in their life.
Yes.
Many absentee father to Tulip, but pretty zen. Got what he was in culture, understood it.
I think it's a fucking ledger. It's a give and take. It's a receipt of like, if you get that ability, you have like bad sides to that. Just as like any other ability, you get some ability or like or aptitude in something, and you just another area you're not good at in return. So
Absolutely.
he had a weird fucking combination or something.
Yeah, I mean,
like intense.
By all accounts, an odd duck.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But can I continue on to Tiny Tim?
Yes, shame time is over now.
And to the Antichrist.
Yes.
Which
is separate from Tiny Tim and Satan.
Yes, because Satan and the Antichrist are two different things, especially when it comes to Tiny Tim.
That they're not, because I think they're both so fucking hot that like.
So,
all right.
Well, can I just say, all right, Tiny Tim and the Antichrist, and please put a big graphic up here that's just Tiny Tim and the Antichrist.
It's up there. See it?
All right, yeah. Not the font I prefer, but beggars can't be choosers. So Tiny Tim in the same phone interview, and this is included in the track off of Tales of an Impotent Troubadour, the track Just What Do You Mean by Antichrist. And this is definitely has way more of the Nurse with Wound influence, the Stephen Stapleton influence to it. Starts off with David Tibet asking, like, what do you think of the Antichrist? So, paraphrasing here. And it kind of goes into this psychedelic, like, blast of sound with wails from David Tibet. And Tiny Tim says, I believe that the Antichrist will be from outer space, and a great monster. And the time of the Antichrist will be, the world will be in captivity. We'll all be slaves. And he equates it to Jews in the time of Moses. And he thinks that in the time of the Antichrist, the reign of the Antichrist, Earth will be invaded by hideous monsters from outer space, where even the most righteous and like God-fearing people will ask, "Where is God?" And mankind will be in eternal servitude to these creatures from outer space. Which
sounds like a bummer.
Yeah, and it's kind of.
I don't want that.
I think it's interesting, and like it's a bit more, for lack of better words, Lovecraftian, and its way of like it's not a spiritual beast, the Antichrist,
it's an alien,
or even a political thing. It's a cosmic calamity that brings the Antichrist here.
E.T. Antichrist.
Yes, E.T. Antichrist. Love that band.
Yeah.
But
now, did Tiny Tim say all this?
Mm-hmm. No, it's like a fucking 6-minute long song of just this phone interview. And he thinks the Antichrist will be a horrific monster, which as me as someone who grew up in like that, George W. Bush era of like Protestant nationalism. Mm-hmm. I grew up with like an on and off like Protestant mom as well, so I was subjected to like the Antichrist will be like a politician type stuff. So I think that's fairly interesting.
Also, everybody will love him according to the Bible.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna love him. He's gonna be super hot.
Yeah.
He's gonna make Sharon Stone look like dirt.
Yeah, look like a fucking dog shit.
The heck?
So honestly, Sharon Stone's pretty normal looking, I gotta say. Like,
she's very beautiful.
She's pretty mid.
I think she's mid. No,
she's
dollar store Michelle Pfeiffer. right?
Don't get me started on Michelle. Fuck it. Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman with the curly hair.
Look. This is not the
Come
Michelle
on.
Pfeiffer
Oh,
episode.
Well, we can have a Michelle Pfeiffer segment. Come on now.
Maybe.
Why
Maybe
Tiny
we can.
Tim?
Why Tiny
That's the
Tim?
why.
Why Tiny Tim?
We're zooming way out. We're
Yes.
zooming way out. We're saying, why does he
go
even
out.
exist?
Here's
What's
why. Here's
his
why.
ontology?
Here's why I think. You've heard all this music, and it all sounds like that. Then you hear a guy go, and it's different. It's a palate cleanser.
Absolutely.
We didn't have a Tiny Tim until we had Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
Now we don't maybe need a second one. And we maybe didn't need that one to do all the things he
Maybe
did.
we couldn't have a second one.
No, I think
No.
you couldn't have a second
Couldn't
one.
have.
It's kind of a one of a kind.
You don't
phenomenon.
think there can be a
That's-
tinier Tim?
There can never be a tinier.
Tinier, more Timothy-er Tim.
A tinier Tim would be scary.
Tinier Tom, and he's 7 feet tall. 56 is high.
Oh, Whistletown. Whistletown Willie.
Um,
I'm tinier Tom.
so are we saying novelty is where we're in the direction of why Tiny Tim is novelty?
Tiny Tim is a novelty, and is novelty bad?
I don't think
Oh,
I mean
what do you got?
with the music that I listen to, I wouldn't even consider Tiny Tim to be a novel. I guess with like the grand like cultural zeitgeist.
You're listening to so many ukulele players.
If he's his own thing as much as we're saying he's a novelty.
I think culturally, yes, a novelty, but overall, he's not. But he definitely popularized, especially that like falsetto, like male vocalist. shit.
Let's go root word of novelty for a moment. A novelty is novel. Novel means new. Means we didn't have it before.
I thought novel was a book.
That's
It's
why
a
they
flavor
call
of
them that.
noteworthy. It's like
That actually is why they call them that. For
I don't
real.
like that now. Actually, I hate that.
All right, well, stop reading novels.
I will never
Mama,
stop
I didn't
reading
do it. I
novels.
didn't do it.
Oh, I left my fucking Ray Bradbury at home. No, it's in my car. Never mind. Sorry.
this is why Tiny Tim.
It's at home.
It's in my car. It's in my
Oh,
car.
It's in the car.
I also have the filth in my car. Shout out Grant Morrison.
Shout out Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
But Jay doesn't want to talk about that.
Yes.
So, okay, if you had a kid and you had to name your kid after the most famous thing you've done in your life, what's your kid's name? Because his kid
being
was
hot
named...
as fuck, Junior.
Being hot as fuck, Junior.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of things that have gotten me popular within certain either like scenes or subcultures. So it's I guess.
You gotta pick
Including
one.
pedophiles now.
What's your tiptoe through the tulips?
I mean, I guess the thing that got me note within like the scene that I'm in now in fucking Trashville is throwing someone I hate around in a mosh pit. Like I just beat the shit out of him, but he was too stupid to realize I was actually like targeting him. So I just like pick him up and throw him across the room. That's what got me. That's what got me the social clout.
So then the name is either... We going last name Ruff?
Yeah, I mean that's my last name.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go cream cheese in honor of Susie Cream Cheese.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Susie.
Yeah, so you.
It's your subconscious speaking, babe. Also a novelty in its own way. Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever
I
think it was
fucking
called
hate Frank
Zappa?
Which fucks me up that he didn't fuck with drugs.
That's a whole other...
I know. Well, we talked about this the other day.
So it's either Mosh Pit Ruff, which is pretty good, or Target Ruff.
I don't like Target Ruff. I don't.
Target.
It just makes me think of the Target dog.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
especially with my last name being RUFF. Like
that Target Ruff gets made fun of being like, "Hey, Walmart Ruff." That's no good.
Yeah.
Mosh Pit Ruff, pretty good.
Yeah. And prior to I guess like even the scene culture I got here, I got the word or the nickname Dogwater Roz because I was hanging out with an Oogle, which is homeless punk to y'all that don't really know it, the traveling homeless punks. Met up with one. We went to a lake nearby, like walking trail, and he started lapping up the dog water, that like the dog bowl that they have for like dogs. Had a bunch of shit in it. And that was the moment where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck this dude. And then my friends started calling me Dog Water Roz because they were like, anybody could drink out of a dog bowl, and then you'd find them attractive.
I don't think you should name your child Dog Water, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Let's stick with Mosh Pit.
yeah.
Mosh Pit Rough.
Yeah.
Jay?
Being hot as... was it being hot as fuck?
Oh, being hot as fuck. But no, what's your real
What
one?
was the actual restate?
The actual question is that you have to name your... So, okay, Tiny Tim named his daughter Tulip because his most famous song is Tiptoe Through the Tulips with me.
So the name the most famous.
So it can't be Metaphiles Ford because Metaphiles is our Tiny Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Coin Time
Ford.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And you are the reason Coin Time exists, so you would be allowed to take credit for that.
Oh, that's true. And most people watch this for Coin Time.
Yeah, we get letters.
Yeah.
Why can't the whole show be Coin Time, they say?
Wait till they get a load of this episode.
Why can't it be an hour and a half of you saying Coin Time?
You know what? I retract myself from this game. I don't want to play. I don't have an answer.
Retracting yourself from this game does retract you from the podcast.
Now, is it that you
It
don't
makes
want
me
to?
co-host.
Is it that you don't want to?
No.
Yeah, you go over there.
Yeah.
You go over there now.
No, I will be.
If you don't want to play, then you go over there.
I will be the co-host now, and
Okay.
Zoom in.
Hey man,
Philly.
you can have it. All right.
So,
Rosa, you can have it.
Well, now I don't want it.
no, Jay, I'm gonna come back to you because most famous Metaphiles episode is our first one, which is called name, which the topic was names. So I think my kid has to be named Names Caffrey.
Names Caffrey.
Names Caffrey.
Not James. Names.
Names.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fucked that.
Yeah. Boy or girl or whatever.
Names. Names.
Names Caffrey.
I don't know. It kind of sounds good though. Like Names Caffrey.
Sounds better than Tiny fucking Tim.
Yeah. Fucking loser.
Guys, okay.
Okay. So now we get to the business. Taskmaster.
Well, we answered why Tiny Tim. Rosa as well.
Yes.
And like
Wait, did I
villain
answer
of
why?
Tiny Tim.
Yes.
Can you explain the canon?
Yeah.
behind
So
the Antichrist?
here's our 3 bits of business that we got to do at the end.
If we want to.
We got it.
Right.
It's Metaphiles.
It's
Here's the things we do at the end, Rosa. We figure out what would be the villain of the topic. For example, once our topic was the devil, so we had to figure out what was the villain of the devil. We must also decide the fate, whether the topic goes up to our version of heaven, which we call Pinewood because bowling alleys.
Yeah, of course.
Or the trap drawer, which is a mysterious underdimension below sub-hammer space.
It's that thing over there, right?
It's somewhere. We don't know exactly where, but when you
pretty
open
sure there's a
it,
trapdoor over there.
when you open the trap drawer, it's fucked up, and we reserve it for when we need to.
Right.
Then there's also Parade Purgatory, which means like we kind of just don't care. Like we don't really fucking care about parades that much. The final thing we must decide is what is the lesson of this episode, and I think I have that one.
My favorite segment, the lesson of the episode.
I think I have that one.
Okay, yeah.
I think dude from the funeral said it.
Oh.
Sometimes imagination is more powerful than reality.
Mm-hmm.
You are not going to get a better lesson
That's
than
the
that.
lesson, yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It was also the why, but I mean, perfect. I mean, sure.
They can bleed into each
They
other.
completely-
We're killing it.
Yeah.
We're killing it this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that means so much to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, the 2 other things we must decide: the fate and the villain. The fate of Tiny Tim.
I think Purgatory. Purgatory.
I put Tiny Tim absolutely in Pinewood.
Really?
Weirdo who had a vision of creativity, achieved it, lived it,
I guess
stayed adaptable to it,
Yeah.
talked about Gigi Allen when it was time to do that.
that is true. I think my morals are getting in the way a bit with his proclivity towards younger women.
Tiny Tim seemed like a fucked up person in some ways.
He is an impotent troubadour. So
Absolutely. Seems like not the greatest person.
yes.
But if we're talking strictly the life of an artist,
Life and legacy.
the life and legacy of an
Absolutely
artist,
Pinewood.
it was an artist's life lived in service of art.
Can I just say, fucking stamped,
Yeah.
certified, co-signed Pinewood.
Pinewood. And we don't sing the song anymore. And
We used to, but now we're done. Yeah.
we've gone actually longer of me saying we don't sing the song than we actually did sing the song. It's,
The villain.
The villain of
I got
Tiny
Fred
Tim.
Durst.
Oh, okay. Please explain. Please.
No, I can see it. I can see
I
it.
can see it, but I want it.
He just rode this weird wave that just happened to him. From,
He was
from
rolling?
being,
Oh.
and rolling and rolling. And he was keeping
Rolling. Yeah.
and rode this fucking wave of like being this front man that could only exist in that type of music, and sold absurd amounts of music just for being this. Tiny Tim was like
Tiny Tim had no scene.
Fred Durst like got drunk one night and did karaoke and then started, like realized he could do that band. And he had that insane level of success.
Meanwhile, at the exact same time, Tiny Tim had no scene to jump on and ride coattails of. Tiny Tim created Tiny Tim's scene, small though it may be. It existed one person large.
Yeah. But maybe that's dumb.
I
That was
like
more
it.
of a comedic suggestion, to be honest.
No, I like it. Yeah, let's take the villain seriously.
No, I mean, I think
I
think Fred Durst could be the villain.
I think Fred Durst is the Joker to Tiny Tim's Batman.
Yeah.
And not the other way around.
Or perhaps even the Joker to Tiny Tim's Jason Todd.
Jay doesn't like this.
Oh.
But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yes.
But that wraps it up anyways.
That-
Housekeeping, that's all
That
housekeeping.
really does do it.
Alright.
So from me, Shaggy Zach smokes dope when an album's cool.
Zachy smokes. Yes.
From me, that.
Yes.
And from
Proctor J.
Proctor J.
Yeah.
And of course, from that old thing of cream cheese. This is the part of the sign off that I say.
Oh, we were supposed to do it in sequence.
Yeah, and you get to say it too. This is the part of the
Well,
sign
no,
off that
we
I-
should
Oh.
do it like the Three Stooges. It was like hello.
Oh, okay. So this is the part of the sign off that I say.
This is the part of the sound off that I say.
This is the part of the sign off that I say.
Hello there. It's almost the end of the show, but not quite. I'm Zach Caffrey,
I'm Jason Ford.
and you just watched the episode of Metaphiles that you watched, and now you're seeing this, and it's the part where we say, it's like us, subscribe to us, comment about it,
Get on our shit.
get on it, build a little community with us. You're all a part of it. It's a nice little world we have here.
It's just a big ball of liking and subscribing and comments.
And it's wonderful to do. And you like doing it. You do.
You do.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
And this week, why not make a comment about bye.
Bye-bye.
Metaphiles.